They say, find your intention, your story, your message, and tell it in the best way possible. And it sounds like an assignment. It feels impersonal, which it shouldn't, considering it's my career. It's my craft, my profession, my hobby, my love. No, see, what they're really asking is for you to dig deep within yourself and find it. Find the hunger, the love, the talent, the story, the history, the culture, the intelligence, the brilliance, the beauty, the sexiness, the drive, the imperfection, the scars, the glory. They're really asking you to find you. Discover and rediscover who you are and create from that vulnerable truth. It's where the beauty is. It's where the masses or just one person grow admiration for you. It's the sweet spot where you touch people's lives, reflect the state of humanity, and leave an impact beyond words' descriptions. It's the core of being an artist. So here's to finding our intentions, our stories, our messages. I think I'm one step closer to finding mine.
Letting gravity pull those hips down. My chest up, so there's a bit of a back bend. Really not forcing it. And now push into your right that thigh open. Lots of sensation and then compose like this. So stay with your breath. Straight your feet out. Now from keep a nice lip for your heart. And if you were leaning back, go ahead and walk your hands back in. And we're coming back into the legs and the feet a little bit here.
I think when we talk about actualizing your potential or bettering yourself as an artist and a performer, more specifically, we use a lot of fancy jargon and we speak in metaphor and we speak in poetry. But sometimes we need to start thinking about the very practical, physical ways of enhancing our crafts. And the first thing that I have been working on and the first thing that I have been documenting a lot is my relationship with my body and how I want to better it and how I want to continue to become a performer that knows how to utilize the body in the best way possible. I've spent a lot of time studying, working on my voice, working on my face, working on how to achieve emotion, how to tell a story. But the body is so important for these things, whether it's musically, whether it's theatrically. No matter what the form of art is, it becomes really important to understand that your body has the potential to move in magnificent, beautiful ways, in jaw-dropping ways, and whether it's entertainment, whether it's supposed to touch your soul, whether it's educational, whether it's paying homage and it's cultural and it's historical or it's political. So
married today. Some of you may know the man standing next to me. He's won a few races and stuff.
So I've really started to become more intentional about working on my body in different types of ways, and for me it's just been yoga and running and eating healthy, and I'm seeing the results of that, gaining stamina so that I can have longevity in my performances on a practical level, gaining flexibility through yoga so that I can move better and I can have more mobility.
That's a big up friend Irie.
I also want to spend some time, or a little bit of time, focusing on the idea of home and culture and belonging, and how these concepts help root me in my understandings of who I am as an artist. And not only does it bring me great pride and joy, but it also provides great inspiration for how I want to create and what I want to be speaking about and what I feel is important to highlight, and which triumphs and joys do I think should be depicted and explored more. So yeah. In this context, that would be specifically speaking about my return to KwaZulu-Natal, KZN, the 031, where I'm from. And I remember my first park run that I had showed, and I let a little bit of the audio play, but it was so beautiful to be back home. It was one of my favorite runs, to hear all the different types of Zulu music playing and seeing all the people running in their groups, enjoying, and the dancing and the laughter, the people doing yoga on the beach, and there was just so much vibrance. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, man, this place has some soul. So I've been writing. I feel like when we talk about using the mind and stretching the mind and really working that muscle, the very obvious, practical, physical thing that you can be doing with that is writing, creating stories. I've been writing all sorts of things since a very young age, and I remember my parents would tell me when I was very young that I should never lose that. I should never lose the ability to write music or write scripts, because that's where the real money is in this industry. You know, the writers are the ones who really go home and can make a living for themselves, the directors, the producers. And so, when you spend a lot of time studying, you are taught how to be a performer, and you're taught how to be the one on stage. And you're not really given the tools to learn how to write music. You learn how to sing it. You learn how to understand it. You learn how to tell the story that you're given. But you're never taught how to write it yourself. Or even when you are, it's on a very, very tiny level and a much smaller level than how you're taught to perform. So I've really been going back into that. I feel like I used to write a lot, especially in matric, and I really felt a deep sense of pride in my ability to pick up melodies and find what stories they're supposed to tell and how best that melody can be interpreted and executed. And it's been really great to go back to that and find that for myself again. So, yeah. Sanbonani, Dumelang, Goeiemorgen, salutations, and Molweni. My name is Yanela. Welcome back to my channel. Yeah, if you don't know me, my name is Yanela. And I was meaning to do this or speak for a little while. A while ago, and I wanted to be properly dressed and ready with my little blonde afro out. But I just decided to do it now because I'm on the beach. I just finished a run. And so I was like, oh, this place is just so scenic and what a beautiful morning. And I spend so much time at home or indoors. Actually, that's not true, but I'm not always at the beach in the morning, so I don't always get an opportunity to do this. So I was like, let me just take the opportunity now. So I'm an artist. I've
I've been studying music and theater and acting and dance and musical theater and all of the things like all my life. I feel like I've spent my life perfecting and mastering and performing and learning in this field. And it's been beautiful. It's been, it's been really great to like hone in on my talents. I feel like, as you grow up, like finding your niche or finding like your purpose or finding like what it is that you're supposed to do in this life can be very difficult for many people. And I'm glad that like I found my thing very early on, like 3 years old. I knew that like, oh, this is me, like this is what we're gonna be doing, and so yeah, it's been really great, learning about myself and learning about my craft and getting better and better and just becoming more and more of the performer and the artist and just the creator that I want to be. But I feel like so much of that time, so much of my childhood and my adolescence and my young adulthood is spent daydreaming, and you spent like preparing for the big moment and the success and the like the real work, you know what I mean? And that time is coming to an end. I have about 2.5 more years of my degree, I want to say, and after that I should be working. I think throughout primary school, middle school, high school, university, like you're constantly just daydreaming about like when I've studied and when I get the opportunities, and and it seems so far away, but like when like it's not far away anymore. And so now I'm getting to the point where I need to start being very intentional about crafting my life and crafting my art and crafting my work in a way that's going to be fruitful for me, in a way that's going to work for me, and in a way that's going to make sense for me. And so I think a huge part of that is finding your intention and finding your purpose within your craft. I spent a lot of time hearing my mentors, my teachers, my lecturers, my directors, my conductors, speaking about like, you need to look within yourself and like find your purpose and find what it is that like you're meant to do. And it sounds so like airy-fairy, and you think to yourself like, surely that's something that's natural, something that's not manufactured, something that doesn't take effort. Like if there's a story that you're supposed to tell or a message you're supposed to put across, it just comes naturally. You don't have to work for it. But I'm beginning to realize that it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of effort to really find yourself. So this is that process and this is that journey. And yeah, I'd like you guys to follow me while I do that, while I take that moment and take that time and give myself the grace to fail, give myself the grace to learn, give myself the grace to explore, and also give myself that chance, afford myself that ability while I still have time and while I don't have to be thinking about paying bills and making money, so yeah, this is finding myself. This is digging deep within myself, within my identity, within my context, within my experiences, and finding what it is that I'm supposed to be saying, finding the message that I'm supposed to be putting across, whether that's relating to people, whether that's entertaining people, whether that's being relief, whether that's bringing attention to the things that are really important, that are going on in the world. So yeah, it's been really interesting. I want to get into like reading books, speaking about the stuff. I've never been a huge self-help person. It's so funny. Yesterday my parents and I were putting up a bookshelf, and so we were rearranging all the books that we have. And there's a bunch of self-help books that they have, and I was just like, I don't know, like I feel like I've been hating on them for a long time, but I need to start getting on self-help books and start getting on motivational books and start really building the habits that are necessary to get to the place that I want to be in. Because an idea without action is just a thought, you know? So yeah, I need to start putting in that effort to really start working towards becoming a really efficient artist, a really hard-working artist, a smart working artist, somebody who can really put in the work and really show up and reach my potential, you know? I think that's the other thing, you know, potential is something that we all have. I think what separates those who are great and those who are not is being able to use that potential in the right way, being able to take that potential and utilize it, actualize it, and make it something. So I really feel like that's what I'm trying to get at. That's what I'm trying to do, and it's gonna take a while. It's gonna be a process. It's not gonna happen in 1 week. Dare I say it's my life's work, or it's all of our lives' work, like becoming better versions of ourselves, or perfecting ourselves, or working on ourselves. That's what you work on for the rest of your life. So yeah, I'm gonna be writing a lot more. I'm going to be working on my body a lot more. Obviously, I'm lucky enough that my parents have always been very like health is wealth people, and so I grew up eating well and doing fitness and running is my thing. Anybody who knows me knows that like I'm big on running. So I want to be working on my body in a bunch of different ways. You know, I've been getting into yoga, trying to work on my mobility, my flexibility. That way I can really just become a much better performer, and I can move a lot more, and I can do more amazing things with my body. I want to really start working on my mind and my brain. I've written songs a bunch, but I don't do it all the time, and it doesn't come easily or as naturally as it could for me. So I want to start working on writing a verse a day, coming up with something a day, you know. I want to get into learning how to produce. I want to learn how to write scripts and get better at that. I want to, there was something else that I wanted to say. Oh, I want to work on rooting myself, in the sense that like I feel like I'm very conscious and very I spend a lot of time thinking about, you know, my identity as an African person, as a black person, as a queer person, and I spend a lot of time thinking about the social context that I exist in, that being like a post-colonial South Africa, a modernized South Africa, a westernized South Africa, and more than that, like the fact that I'm privileged and I get to go to university and get an education, and that I live in the place that I do. I'm very conscious about that, and I feel like I want to honor all of those realities and all of those identities constantly, and I want to not get lost in trends or in what's popular or what's romanticized or what looks good, and really start romanticizing and loving and appreciating my identity, my culture. So really starting to create from that perspective and create from that objective, you know, really trying to constantly show the beauty in all the aspects that all the aspects of the person that I am. I think that's really, really what I'm getting at. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this journey with me, and if it inspires you to start taking your potential and turning it into something tangible, then that's great. If not, I hope I'm entertaining. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say, but I want to keep talking. Okay, bye.